Okay, very first question. Who is Charlene Fight? If you could go into your book, the book story of your life, and pick out a paragraph that you could actually read to the audience in 2 minutes, what will you say? So move on down the line. Yes, sir, Mr. Blake. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Max Blake, and I live here in Van Buren with my wife, Angie Blake. I graduated from Southside High School. I met Angie while I was working at the airport and married her and fell in love with Van Buren as well as her, so I moved to Van Buren. We had our kids here. All three of them have been through the school here, school system here, and everything's just been great, so we just stayed here. But a little bit about me. I grew up in Fort Smith, going to Southside. I went to West Ark College as well. No, I went to community college. And I started my career in aviation back in 80. And I worked 30 years at the Fort Smith Airport, where I worked my way up while going to West Ark from just a service guy to a partner. And then we sold that business. Grady Stone Aviation sold out, and I worked for Truman Auto Companies up until about 2007. And then I decided to go to work with my family business of my dad that started back in the 50s, Blake Construction, Blake Coal Mining. And that's where I'm at now. I run a concrete precast company, and I just felt the desire to go work with Dad. And, you know, through the experiences of management and ownership and everything, it's really molded me to be a very competitive person. I know people depend on me to be successful. I have employees that depend on me, and that's what drives me every day, is to be successful for my employees, my customers. It's not about, I don't drive myself for me, I drive myself for the people who depend on me. And that's the same work ethics, same mindset that I'll bring to the state representative position. Thank you.
Mr. Rose?
My name is Ryan Rose. I'm a husband and I'm a father and I'm a Christian. And I can go back to when I came to Arkansas for college at the University of the Ozarks. It's where I got my education. It's where I met my wife, and it's where I found my faith. And so the Arkansas River Valley represents everything that I love in this life. A little bit about me. Currently, I serve as the associate pastor at Evangel Temple in Fort Smith. Prior to that, I served for 8 years at Butterfield Assembly of God here in Van Buren. I've also started a car dealership, Rose Auto Sales, and I serve as the vice president of Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center in Fort Smith. And so, for me, when we talk about being pro-life and when we talk about the pro-life movement, it's not just a box that I check, but it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that is part of who I am in everything that I do. And so when I've talked with voters, I've shook hands and through this campaign and talked face to face with about 3,000 people. And when we talk about this issue, I tell them that I'm not pro-life because I'm running for office, but I'm running for office because I am pro-life. And a few other conservative issues that really stand out for me and why I'm running has a lot to do with being a business owner and working with people in the church. I want to see lower taxes for people who are struggling to make it, hardworking Arkansans who need to be able to keep more of their own money to sustain their way of life. And so as a business owner, somebody who's helped folks with their businesses and hired people, you see that on an everyday basis. And when you're helping people through a church and you're counseling people, you see it on an everyday basis. So to answer the question, okay, I'll answer the question. There you go.
If you could please give us just a brief synopsis of your district, like what area does it encompass? The same question will be asked of all of you. Mr. Rose, same question. Tell us a little bit about District 48.
Yes, we have a lot of stoplights, I guess, in our district. The district for 48 really encompasses all of Van Buren city limits. I would say about 90% of the district is Van Buren. And then we get Dora, obviously the Arkansas side, and a little bit of northern Sebastian County. What I look at the map, I'm like, we get all the bridges, which is kind of a neat thing. We've got all these river bridges that cross. So we go right up to the shoreline at Barling, at the Locken Dam there, and then you come across the interstate coming from Van Buren. You come up to 50th Street, and then almost all the way to Free Ferry on the riverside there of the interstate. And so a lot of Crawford County, all of Van Buren, and just a little bit of Fort Smith, northern Fort Smith, and familiar with that area through my church and some of our efforts there. And it's a great district and wonderful people, and I hopefully look forward to serving them.
Mr. Blake?
Well, Ryan described the district just perfectly. So when I've been out campaigning and talking to folks as much as I can, and the concerns that I'm hearing, first off is our children, like Christy said, the indoctrination of the agenda put by the liberal side of things. And that was one of the main reasons I decided to run, was basically, you hear and you see on the news all this stuff, and you sit at home, you go, man, we got to do something about that. But, and then all of a sudden the opportunity came for me to run. I said, well, I've asked God many, many times to put me in a place I can serve. So I guess there I am. But what I'm hearing now, everybody out in the, on the trail is, mandates is one thing, where people, had enough of mandates, and they don't want mandate, whether it's mass mandates, whether it's fluoride in your water. They're just tired of mandates. And, and go back. Thank you.
Why are you running for state representative for District 48? Why state representative? Why not governor? Why not state senator? Why not any other office but state representative?
All right, I'm changing. I want to be the governor. No, I can say all the normal Republican points of view, pro this, pro that. That's check. 100% pro-life, 100% NRA. You can come down to my gun range and use it anytime. But one of the main reasons is I love my town and we need help. I'm an emotional guy. But, and I've lived here for 40 years, and our sewer system, our water system, all needs to be rebuilt. The citizens of Van Buren, which is quite a bit of it's poor, and we can't raise our rates and raise taxes to do all these things. Send me to Little Rock, I'll find the money and I'm going to help it. We got it. This is not long enough.
Mr. Rose.
So the state representative position is really hybrid. The state rep and the state senate positions are the only state positions that are elected locally. And so we have to be mindful that we serve our community, but also we're serving the state as a whole. And so for me, I want to have an impact on my community, but I also want to have an impact on my state. Arkansas is home. It's where my family is. My wife and my kids are native Arkansans. And this is where we're going to live the rest of our lives. And the future of this state matters significantly. And so legislators should be working to make this state a better place, the best place to raise a family, the best place to start and grow a job, the best place to grow old. And so as a state representative, the reason that I want to do that is so that I can make this place a better place, not just for me, not just for you, but for my family and future generations. Thank you.
I'm sure you have researched the role of a state representative, as you alluded to earlier. From what you've been able to gather as information about that office and the role of a state representative, what can you tell us in your own words about the role that you envision yourself playing in the lives of your constituents?
So the role that I would aspire to serve District 48 in would be one of an active representative one that would not just show up and vote occasionally, but would be there making laws or reducing regulations, making life better in Arkansas. So being an active member of the legislature, being an active individual, whether it's helping write a bill or co-sponsoring a bill, or whether it's a committee meeting or it's a meeting before a committee meeting, being an active part of that and doing anything and everything I can to impact change for good, not just for Arkansas, but Van Buren and the River Valley, because there's a lot we can improve on, and I intend to be a part of that improvement.
Okay. Mr. Blake?
Yes, I researched the definition of representative. Just simple, represent you wherever it takes. If it takes me to the city council, I'll represent you. If it takes me to Little Rock, I'll represent you. If it takes me to Washington, D.C., I'll represent you. To the best interest, your best interest will always be first. And I had an opportunity yesterday to stand up and speak to 40 different industry leaders talking about how they're looking for places in Arkansas to invest. And that's once the session's over with, and that's when I'll really begin to represent you, because I'm going to look for opportunities for these gentlemen are looking to relocate and provide jobs and economic impact in our area, to stand up for our area and try to drive that type of any type of business come. Thank you.
What personal qualities or experience, your life experience from your life overall, do you think have best prepared you for this position?
Well, I've been responsible for 40 years. I've been a responsible person. Somebody has always relied on me for 40 years, either to provide them a job or provide them income. Kind of like what Christy said, you don't work, you don't eat. So they depended on me to be successful so they would have a job. That's the same quality that I will bring to the representative position, because I care about you. I'm not going to let you down. I want you to be proud of me. As far as the business life, I've dealt with every branch of government, from the Navy SEALs that are up to the Department of Energy. I sell them products every day. I deal with RDOT every day. I deal with ADEQ every day. I know where the doors are at that I can go knock on and get access to and help find funding. I'm going to go back to that because our district needs help.
So I've served as a pastor here in the River Valley for 15 years. And I believe starting, in a volunteer position and working my way up through the ministry to the position I have now is a reflection of the leadership qualities I possess. In every organization that I've been a part of, everywhere that I've worked, I've not just been promoted, but I've been asked to lead or required to lead. So I currently serve as the associate pastor at Evangel Temple. But in addition to that, I've served on several boards that I've become president of, and currently serving as vice president of one. And just this past weekend, my denomination, the Assemblies of God in Arkansas, asked me and appointed me to serve as the men's ministries director for the state. And I say each one of those things because the people who know me, the people who I work with, see leadership and desire to have me in positions where I can impact change for good. And I was talking with, I wasn't. Ask me a question again, please.
Yes, sir. If elected as state representative, what would be your priorities in office, and what will you want to achieve within your first year?
Okay, once elected, obviously it'll be a strong learning curve down there for me to figure out how it goes through the motions. But the priorities is this district, the people who live here, this city of Van Buren that I've lived in and been a part of for 40 years. We have a port we're trying to achieve here. We have an interstate that's going to go across. And I've been here long enough to know we'll snooze on this and we won't get things done that need to be done. And I want to champion that and find some funding and some opportunities to make sure we're moving forward with infrastructure plans and prepared for the opportunities that we're going to have in 10 years. Because we can't wait 9 years and, oh, we need to build the sewer lines out this far. We need to build the water lines out this far. Or we should have bought Concord Water when we had a chance. Thank you.
Mr. Rose.
So the first issue that would be the most important to me serving in the House would be continuing to see whatever we could do to end abortion in Arkansas. Hopefully Roe versus Wade goes the way that we would like to see it go in the Supreme Court this summer. And I would like to stay on the front lines in the legislature to make sure that nobody sues, no judge anywhere in this country or in this state does anything to reverse that. Education is incredibly important. I've taught at the university and the high school level, and I've worked with children with autism and learning disabilities with diversified learning needs. We can continue to do more for education here in Arkansas. We need better teacher pay. Public education here in Arkansas represents about 55% of the budget. It should, and we can continue to do more to support our schools. I want to continue to lower taxes. I'd like to lower the state income tax. I'd love to see it eliminated eventually, but it's going to take time. I'd also like to reduce the amount of sales tax that individuals pay on used cars. As a car dealer, that's a good one. So,
part of being a representative, I mean, one of the main functions is to indeed represent the constituents. And an essential part of that is actually stay connected to those constituents and indeed carry their voice or voices in Little Rock. How do you plan on staying connected to your constituents so that you can indeed faithfully represent those voices?
Well, you know, my phone's always with me. Everybody knows where I live. But I'll be at the local Chamber of Commerce meetings, the city council meetings. If I'm needed somewhere, just ask me. I'll be there. I'll do my very best to stay in connection with the constituents. Like I said, I guess social media is a way to do it, but I don't know exactly how other to do that and without just being in the places that they're at or their representatives are at. You know, it'll probably be more representative as a city council member needing to speak to me, which they're representing their constituents as well. So representative to representative would probably be the easiest and fastest way to stay connected. But by all means, if there's an issue or a concern that you have that needs to have a voice, I'm the guy who will carry that for you.
Mr. Rose?
In my adult and professional life, I've always been somebody available. As a minister, it is literally my everyday life being available by phone, by text message, by coming by an office. Whatever it is that the people of this district need, they'll be able to get a hold of me. And that's the conversations we've had when I've been talking to folks at their homes, going door to door, talking to them at events that we've held. And I've had phone calls since then on the cards that I got at the table in the back. It's got my personal phone number on there. I've been talking to voters already who are saying, hey, we like this. What do you think about this? How can you help us in this issue? And that's the type of representative that I'll be, because it's the type of pastor, it's the type of friend, it's the type of individual that I am, that you can get a hold of me, and it's not that you're having to chase me down. I want to be there for you. As a pastor, that word means servant, very similar to what representative means, which is also servant. So that's who I'm going to be for my constituents.
And this is from the audience. Which committee will you seek to be appointed to that will best help Crawford County citizens in overall your constituents? And when you answer that question, try also to actually touch on a potential conflict that could arise because in the title it says state representative for district, let's say 48 in your case. What if you have a bill in front of you or an issue in front of you that may be good for the state, but that your constituents do not necessarily approve of? How will you handle that?
Thank you for making me first to answer that question. First of all, I think it's a logical thing to understand that as a freshman in the legislature, you're probably slapped on the transportation committee. There's other ones that I would aspire to be a part of. You know, I'd love to work with education. I'd love to work with commerce, but it's probably going to be transportation. And so, and that's fine. I love railroads, trucks, infrastructure, whatever may come. in that committee. And so, as you say, the question is there, what happens when the benefits of the committee or a bill are separated from the benefits of your constituents? And so I will vote for my community first, as long as it's never going to compromise my morals. So my morals will come first. Like we're talking about pro-life legislation or anything of those along those lines. Morals always come first. My constituents will be next. And then the overall state as a whole will be third.
Mr. Blake?
Yes, I was looking at this the other day, and the commerce side of things seems to be the best opportunity. Kind of like what Ryan said, we're going to be freshmen, so we're going to get told where to go. But I can answer it just like he did. My morals are going to come first. And, first off, we're going to check all the boxes for that. And then we're going to look at it and see how it benefits our district, or my district. And we're going to vote to how it benefits us the best. If it don't benefit us, it's a no. But if it's a conflict of my ethics, my integrity, then, I'm going to still be Max Blake up there. I'm not going to change. I'm not very gray. I'm black and white. And first off, I'm going to seek guidance from God. And second, I'm going to seek guidance from y'all also if there's something that's, controversial, because by all means, I don't want to do anything that will harm this. Thank you.
Now we've come to a point where we make closing statements. 1 minute closing statement. So we start with you, with Mr. Rose. This is an opportunity for you to make a closing statement.
Quickly, a couple issues that I did get to address, and that is that I will be a defender of first responders. I've been endorsed by the Van Buren Firefighters Union. I've met with the police chiefs that are represented in this district and police officers, and I will defend law enforcement and do everything that I can to protect them and to improve everything that they can do, whether it's funding or training or anything else along those lines. Something else is foster care in this state. We've got somewhere between 4,800 to 5,000 foster kids in Arkansas. They need help. The agencies need help. And that's something that I'm going to be a part of. Now, I've been endorsed by the Arkansas Right to Life. I received the highest possible rating for a non-incumbent from the NRA. I've been endorsed locally by 3 Van Buren Justices of the Peace, our incoming county treasurer, and then I was also endorsed by the Lieutenant Governor of Arkansas. And I believe that each one of those endorsements, among other community leaders and business leaders, I believe that among those endorsements, it proves my leadership qualities. Thank you.
Mr. Blake?
Well, I meant to say this a while ago, but I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative, I'm an American, and I'm a Pointer. And this means a lot to me, as you can tell, and all of y'all mean a lot to me. And I'm going to serve you. This is hard. Every one of us up here knows it's hard. Nobody's doing this because it's easy. And all of us are worthy of serving you. But I believe I'm the best choice because of my background. I know where to go. I know who to see. I know what we need. I've been doing this long enough, and a lot of you's heard me before. I do know what we need. And I'm going there to help us. I want you to sell. I can't see everybody. Whoever's out there that's a small business owner, I want you to sell more of what you sell. I want you to develop more houses of what you can develop. Okay, thank you.
Thank you to you all. Thank you to the candidates. And this concludes the first part of this forum. So if you could please give a round of applause to these candidates who have decided to throw their hats in the ring. We represent you. We greatly appreciate it. And we will invite the candidates to please move off stage so that we could set up for the Senate part of this.